The movie is set in the year 1962, when the United States and the Soviet Union are at each other's neck. In America, there is a rumor that the Soviets may drop a nuclear bomb anytime, prompting many citizens to build a secret bunker in their house. Eccentric scientist Dr. Calvin Weber is one of those citizens, and after months of hard work, he has built an advanced fallout bunker in his backyard, which has all the amenities required to survive a nuclear war. One day, Calvin organizes a party at his house and invites several of his colleagues. While everyone is enjoying themselves, President Kennedy announces on live television that they are planning a secret mission against the Soviets. This terrifies Calvin, and he believes that the war is about to commence shortly. Hence, he sends all the guests away and hurries to the secret bunker, alongside his pregnant wife, Helen. At the same time, an aircraft is flying over the city when it experiences a mechanical failure. It crashes straight into Calvin's house, destroying it completely. Inside the bunker, Calvin deduces that the nuclear war has begun, and immediately seals the door. He then tells his wife that the door will open only after 35 years, as it takes the same time for nuclear particles to normalize in the atmosphere. With the house completely destroyed, the Webers' neighbors and authorities assume they were killed in the crash. Now, with each passing day, the couple starts adjusting to life inside the bunker. While Calvin feels at home, Helen is uncomfortable and constantly worries about her family and friends. One day, Helen's water breaks and she gives birth to a son. The couple is over the moon to have a child, and they name him Adam. In the following scene, we see a bigger view of their bunker. It is stocked to last for 35 years, including a fish tank, fuels, a well-facilitated lounge area, and a mini-mart full of food. As time passes, Calvin homeschools his son and teaches him about the history of America. He wishes his son could one day rebuild the country as it was before. The movie then skips to the summer of 1965, when a team of construction workers cleans out Calvin's destroyed ground and builds a diner. Cut to 10 more years, it is now the autumn of 1975. Adam is grown into a kind and generous boy who likes spending time with his parents. He takes regular boxing classes from his father and dance classes from his mother. Meanwhile, the diner becomes a pizzeria and then a nightclub. In the basement, Calvin continues to teach his son about various topics. He explains about the stock market and gives lessons in French and Latin. While they talk, Calvin compliments his son's incredible sense of humor. One day, Calvin gives Adam a collection of his baseball cards and explains to him about sports. The movie then skips to the summer of 1995, where Calvin and Helen celebrate their son's 33rd birthday. Adam is a grown man now, who desires to find a partner for himself. Next, it's 1997, and the bunker has reached its maturity. Finally, after 35 years, the bunker's door automatically unlocks itself, and the family excitedly goes to check. Calvin insists that they wait for the night and let him check first, since they don't know about the present world outside. Above the bunker, the diner has now become a home to beggars. While the beggars are drinking, there's a sudden shaking of the ground, and they think it's an earthquake. However, it turns out that Calvin has come up to the surface with a radiation suit on, and seeing him, one of the beggars falls unconscious. Following this, Calvin ventures out into his old neighborhood, only to find out that it is completely changed. He sees people playfully pointing guns at him, and even stumbles into an adult video store. Realizing that his neighborhood has degraded, he becomes worried, and returns to the bunker. At the dinner table, he shares with his family that although the ground above is breathable, it has become a post-apocalyptic wasteland of irradiated mutants. As a result, they must continue living underground. Helen, who at this point has become sick of living in the bunker, starts arguing. She mentions that no matter the people above, she wants to come out of their cooped shell, and wants Adam to see the blue skies, touch the oceans, and grass, and visit the mountains. Despite the inspiring speech, Calvin still insists that they stay underground, but as he is arguing, he suffers a heart attack. With supplies running out and Calvin falling ill, Helen wants Adam to go outside and get whatever they need for 2 years or so. She gives him a list of grocery items, and tells him that it would be wonderful if he can find a girl, one who's not a mutant. Before leaving, Calvin advises Adam to not enter the adult video store, claiming that it has harmful harmful levels of radiation. Actually, he is just trying to keep his son away from vulgarity. 35 years old is too young to experience your first boner, son. After a while, Adam packs his handbag and leaves the bunker for the first time. On the surface, he comes across the beggar, Melker, who encountered his father the previous night. While Adam marvels at the outside world, Melker starts worshipping Calvin and the elevator through which he and Adam made their way out. Melker thinks of them as some divine power that has struck his life to change his fate. Melker's been drinking too much Listerine. Meanwhile, Adam finally sees the blue sky above, and waves at people in the streets, as he is seeing them for the first time. He's stunned to see a woman of color, and greets her excitedly. Next, he stumbles upon the same adult video store his father had warned him about, so he quickly covers his nose, and urges others to do the same. Later, Adam gets on a bus, but he is scared to feel the vehicle moving. He speaks as per his taught knowledge, but that apparently doesn't fit with the normal life at present. The passengers on the bus think that he is crazy, and the bus driver even gives him a weird stare. After a while, Adam finally arrives at a grocery store and strolls around to pick up the items his mom had listed for him. When he goes to buy meat, the butcher tells him that if he makes a larger order, it would be directly delivered to his house. Hearing the word house, Adam realizes that he has forgotten the way back to his bunker. Worried, he desperately looks around the city for his bunker's location, but doesn't find any sign of it. By this point, his cash is almost run out, so he tries to sell his father's classic baseball cards at a hobby shop. The shop owner concludes that Adam is crazy for trying to sell the cards for a surprisingly low price, so he offers to buy the whole pack for just $500. Just then, the shop's assistant, Eve, approaches the two and stops the owner from cheating. She informs Adam that each of his cards costs at least $6,000, as they are all extremely rare. She then berates her boss and quits her job on the spot. Witnessing all this, Adam is instantly smitten with her. After coming out of the store, he begs Eve to drive him to the Holiday Inn restaurant, as per his mother's instructions. At first, Eve refuses, but when Adam promises to give her 2 cards in return, she agrees. Soon, the two arrive at the hotel, but before Adam can say anything, Eve returns home. The following morning, Adam gets a call from Eve, who asks him to come down to the lounge area. It turns out that she has come to give back his card, since she feels guilty. After returning the card, she tries to walk away, but Adam asks her to help purchase supplies, in exchange for $1,000 a week as her pay. Eve agrees, and they buy truckloads of supplies, as Adam has to make sure that the supplies last for at least 2 years. Later, he also asks Eve to help him find a wife, one who is not a mutant. In the next scene, Adam meets Eve's gay housemate and best friend, Troy, who is a bit curious by nature. He asks Adam about his hometown, and the latter lies that he is originally from Alaska and has come here for a business trip. Later, Eve and Troy give Adam a fashion makeover, and the two even take him skateboarding. Imagine the 90s feeling like the future. Next, Adam gets the chance to see the ocean for the first time, and he excitedly dives into the water and enjoys himself. He also attends a baseball game and shouts in excitement that he finally knows what his father was talking about. One day, it starts raining, and Adam feels the rainwater for the first time in his life. Eve urges him to return to the house, but Adam wants to keep experiencing the wonderful feeling. Out of nowhere, he hugs Eve tightly, implying that he is enjoying life in the real world, and that perhaps he has finally achieved his first boner. Later that evening, Eve and Troy take Adam to a 1940s swing-style nightclub. To find him a wife, they advise him to be himself while approaching women. Surprisingly, Adam attracts the attention of several women, including Eve's nemesis, Sophie. When he and Sophie start to get along, Eve feels uncomfortable and drags Adam away to a table. She then recommends that he look for a sweet girl, instead of Sophie. After a while, Adam approaches a girl and they soon get along. When he asks her for a dance, in no time, Adam woos the crowd with his exemplary dancing skills, as he has had years of practice inside the bunker. Oh yeah, he got it from his mama. Meanwhile, a jealous Eve reconnects with her ex-boyfriend, who pokes Adam into an argument. However, he soon regrets it when Adam demonstrates his boxing skills, having trained every single day with his father in the bunker. Because of all the commotion, Eve gets irritated and decides to abandon Adam and return home. A while later, Troy also arrives and informs Eve that Adam left the club with Sophie. Hearing this, Eve storms out of the house and gets in her car to go get Adam back. Just as she is about to drive off, Adam suddenly knocks on the door, startling the life out of her. Following this, the two return to the house and Adam explains that he politely rejected Sophie, as he could only think of Eve. He then expresses his love for her, and the two finally kiss. Now, with Eve by his side, he decides to tell her about his past. He reveals that he lived in a fallout bunker with his family for 35 years, and is seeing the outside world for the first time. He also expresses his desire to make Eve his wife, and take her to the bunker, so that they can live a happy life. However, Eve thinks he is crazy and asks him to leave. The following day, while learning to drive a truck with Troy, Adam spots the adult video store from earlier and finally discovers his bunker's location. He hurries back to Eve's house to tell her about his finding, but he notices two psychiatrists waiting for him there. Adam initially cooperates but escapes. After giving Eve and Troy the key to his hotel room, he asks them to take all the cards and pay his hotel bill before driving away in a truck. A while later, Troy and Eve reach Adam's room in the hotel and find clothing, toothpaste, and other items from the 1960s. They also come across some valuable stock certificates of Adam's father, which are now worth millions. With this, they conclude that Adam is not crazy, and he was actually telling the truth the whole time. In the meantime, Adam returns home after 2 weeks of staying in the outside world. He hugs his parents and tells them about how lovely the world has become. Soon, Melker and his friends help Adam to load the supplies into the bunker. On the other hand, Eve and Troy try to locate Adam's underground bunker, but to no avail. At night, while they are returning home, Eve spots Adam outside the adult video store. She immediately calls out his name and gets out of the car. They embrace and kiss each other, and Adam takes her to meet his parents. Calvin and Helen are impressed with Eve, but Adam wants his father to wait for 2 months while he makes arrangements outside. During this time, Adam and Eve sell the stocks to build a new home in the country, identical to his previous house. They plan to bring Calvin and Helen slowly to the surface and start a new life with them. After a few months, Adam's parents arrive at their new home. They are astonished to see their son do so much for them. While Helen and Eve prepare dinner for the family, Adam reveals to his father that there was never an atomic war, and that the bomb was not a bomb. Instead, a plane crashed into their house. He also reveals that the Soviet Union collapsed without a war. However, Calvin is unconvinced and makes fun of his son's revelation. The movie ends as Calvin plans to build a new fallout bunker, as Eve watches from the kitchen window and plays with her engagement ring.